Hello, Mark here, Rockin Walls. Just want to talk about a couple things with natural cleft bluestone. This is a multicolor, but a couple key things to consider with the natural bluestone over something such as pavers. This stone, the squares and rects, which are what they're referred to, are cut by humans, so sometimes the patterns aren't perfect. I'll talk about that over here. You can see where basically the bluestone squares, these are 1x1s. They're not perfectly always even. You try to get your patterns best that you can, lining one stone with the next, but you can see, for example, here this one's kind of coming in a bit, and you can come back with the gas saw and shorten that up to try to keep your lines clean, but sometimes that can add up with the end of the day. The other thing is you'll sometimes get stones. This one right here is a 3-footer, is kind of long. You'll have somewhere they might actually roll, so you might have a low spot and a high, another low spot, high spot in the middle. And when you're working your patios, you're trying to match, one stone to the next stone to the next stone. You're trying to keep everything kind of like aligned with each other. But this can be tricky because sometimes they'll have high spots in corners, and it's just something to kind of consider. It's just nature of the natural stone itself. Like this spot right here, a little bit taller, and you're just trying to match your corners. A couple of things to think about. Now, also, you can actually, here's another good example. You can see, this is a longer running joint. You can see how just that imperfection can make it look a little unusual. And actually, even this stone right here has a really good high spot. So it gets tricky. Now you can see too with some of these stones throughout, these are chisel marks where they'll take off the high spots, try to take them off at the quarry before they get to their stone yard. But just a couple key things to think about when you're considering bluestone as a possible patio choice. Now this patio specifically, I went with smaller stones because of maintenance. Long term, it makes it easier when you have some smaller stones to take them out. When you get into the 2x2s, which is what this one is here, you can get a little tricky by yourself to remove this to make adjustments in the future. So this patio specifically is a smaller stones in order for maintenance long term, because typically I've seen locally about 10 to 15 years or sometimes less. They'll need adjustments when they're dry laid. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my channel.